Hey, folks, thanks for joining us here at MSP Business School. I'm with Rob Rogers. Say hi, Rob.
Hey, everybody.
And Tim McNeil.
Hey, everybody.
Both of those guys are from OSR Marketing. And for those that don't know me, I work with VCIO Toolbox. And we're here today to launch our first edition of MSP Business School. So thanks for taking some time to join us. We're going to talk about a few topics today. Obviously, we've got a lot that we're facing as a world right now. This global crisis has turned most of our businesses upside down, or at least made us have to modify a little bit and move in a different direction. As you can see, the three of us are working from some interesting quarters, certainly not our office places today. But what we wanted to share with you is not the things you already know about about COVID and some of those other things that are going on out there. This isn't a fear, uncertainty, and doubt conversation. We want to talk about the practicalities of what's going on and a little bit about our experiences going through the process of going for some of this economic stimulus that's out there today. So with that, who wants to start first and tell us a little bit about the experience? Because I think you guys over at OSR Marketing have decided to go both routes, the EIDL and the PPP.
We did. So I guess I'll jump in on that one. I spent a little bit more time on it than Rob did. We applied for both the EIDL and the PPP, and what we found was the EIDL is actually extremely easy to do. That's the one where it's up to $10,000, and they claim it's within days, and that's yet to be seen. I guess today is April 9th, and we've technically it's been live for over a week. I only know of one person that's actually gotten that so far.
So it is starting.
Yeah, exactly. It's starting to trickle in a bit, but we also did the PPP. That's the payroll protection. I think that in the beginning there was a fair amount of confusion between the disaster loan and the PPP. The PPP is the one that is forgivable as long as you use it for payroll. 75% of it can be used for payroll, and as long as you do that, it is a forgivable loan, and 25% can be used for other things such as rent, utilities, and there's actually an area where you can, like an other area, and you can list out what that means to you, right? It's a six month delay in paying. Right now they're saying it's going to be a 2-year loan at, I believe, 0.5%. So for all intents and purposes, it's free money. It is 2.5%, or I'm sorry, 2.5 times your monthly payroll. That's how they figure out the number.
Perfect.
So, yeah.
So, like one of the things I wasn't sure about, we did the EIDL as well over at VCIO Toolbox, but at this stage we didn't go for the other piece of stimulus yet, partially because we use a lot more contractor work than standard employee for the most part. So, with that being said, my question for you guys is, how laborious was the process of getting set up? Did you have to know any information from any of your employees? There's a lot of people really with a lot of questions on what do I need to prepare for this loan, and what do I need to have ready in order to get it fulfilled and submitted successfully?
So so the PPP is that's what we applied for. That's the one that goes through your local banks, right? It's got to be an SBA approved bank, which majority of them are. It's actually kind of rare, at least from what I've heard, that banks SBA approved. Just because we're in Connecticut, we use Webster Bank. I can tell you that the process was not easy, but not impossible. There is one default form that the government makes you fill out, the SBA, that you get from the SBA website. Fill that out, and then it kind of ranges per bank. So with Webster, we also use ADP for our payroll here. Yep. I was able to find out from Webster and from other people that we know that just basically everything that we needed, we were able to create in a report through ADP. And for those of you who use ADP out there, they actually have a COVID-19 section right now, and you can pull out specific reports on what the banks are wanting. So once I figured that out, it took a little while to get there, but once I figured it out, it was actually a pretty easy process.
Awesome. So, I mean, that's pretty cool that you can basically get everything you need right out of ADP. You're
Yes.
not really out there scrambling for a lot of information.
Yeah. I can tell you that if that wasn't there as a resource, or you're not, I gotta imagine, I have to imagine Paychex or equivalents, they have similar things. If that wasn't there, I can see it being a tough hill to climb.
Yeah.
But they didn't see. I'll give them that.
Well, certainly one of the big challenges I've been hearing out in the marketplace is it seems the bigger the bank, the tougher it is to get this done because a lot of those big banks haven't even opened up this process yet. And that's causing a lot of concern for small to mid-sized businesses as each Friday passes and payroll needs to be completed. So, working, it's just another reason for why staying local sometimes is a good thing, right? And working with our community banks and our credit unions and our network have really seemed to help us in these times of stimulus, generally help small to mid-sized business in times of trying to access other capital methods as well. So, good to see you guys had that benefit, at least in working with Webster, who, while larger, is still considered a bit of a community bank.
Yeah.
So,
Definitely.
Rob, what are your thoughts? What are some of the things that you're looking to accomplish by getting some of the stimulus package?
So, one of the things that so we were lucky in that we haven't had to, lay off any employees, and we're going to be using this money to, help us build for the launch after, everything starts to simmer down, the peak happens and we're able to launch back into, helping our clients really get ahead of the curve. So we're watching things like, the new stimulus package that's coming out. How can we get ahead of that? And how can we, just get out there first, and help people?
And that's a real key, what you're talking about right there, because something we've certainly seen over here at VCIO Toolbox is people are starting now as the peak is at least kind of showing itself on the horizon. Let's not get too far ahead of ourselves. And for those listening, we recorded this on April 9th. So they were just really starting to talk about the peak. The three of us all are located probably within 100 miles of New York City. So we're right in the hot zone. And, what they're really projecting, as that peak has been coming, I've been seeing a lot of our customers, especially those that are based here in the Northeast, they're really starting to shift that mindset now and start thinking about this will pass and what's going to be the next piece of it. So it's a little bit exciting to see what's coming down the road. And what I'm really seeing is people are now starting to take advantage of this downtime, something that we usually don't get as a gift, and really starting to look at how they can really propel and accelerate their business coming out of this. Let's face it, this year's over. Anything we all thought we were doing in January, we can throw away, right?
Out the window.
Yeah.
Out
it's now,
the window.
It's now a new ball game, but if we get out the gate quick, it'll be good. So awesome. So, anything else you guys want to add about your experiences with the loans? It seems like it was a pretty straightforward process.
It was, it took, the only thing I would add is, in the beginning, there was a lot of, it wasn't misinformation. There's just a lot of changes going on. It does seem like there's been a little stability as far as what each loan is defined as. For those of you still, I believe the PPP specifically right now open until June 10th. At least that was the last I'd heard. And you do still have time. There will be funds available from everything that we're being told. But just find the loan that's right for you, and just go through the process. It will work out in the end.
Awesome. Well, guys, thanks for sharing your experience. I'm sure that's helpful for many out there. With that, maybe we can segue a little bit into what working from home has been like for you guys. And, how, you mentioned you haven't laid anybody off. So, how are you staying in contact with your teams? What tools are you using that have really been effective and helpful? How are you monitoring what your staff's accomplishing each day? That's something that seems to be a real struggle point for a lot of folks. And you may not have the magic answer either. I know I certainly don't. But with that said, I don't know, Rob, you want to start this one out?
Yeah. So, we're lucky in that we had our plan in place for this type of scenario because we live up in the Northeast and we have snow days. And so we were kind of prepared for this. We use Teams a lot. And then our secondary is Zoom. So every single morning, we have an all company meeting at 8:30 in the morning. Everybody gets on there. Everybody has to use their screen, so they have to be video, not just phone. And then we go around the room, and we do our morning huddle. What did you accomplish yesterday? What do you have on the docket for today? And any company or employee headlines that you can give. And then it's kind of a, like make everybody feel good, let them know everything's stable, give them any update information on our side of the house that we see. And we do that every single morning. And then at the end of the day, we do a what happened today and just do a little brainstorming, like what happened during the day. Does anybody have any issues that were outside? How can we figure out ways to white glove for our clients? And so we do that at the end of the day as well. And again, it's through Teams and it's all visual. You have to be visually present.
That's pretty cool. So it sounds like you guys are really keeping a consistent cadence, probably mirrors a little bit of those steps, at least for, morning huddles, end of the day wrap ups that you were doing under traditional or, settings. And obviously by having everybody get on video too, one thing I found, and it sounds so ridiculous, but it's true. If I don't get dressed up in the morning and get down to my desk like it's a regular work day, it becomes tough to adapt. So by forcing everybody on video, you're reducing that pajama time.
Yeah.
Yes.
I know it's funny because, like I have kids, Timmy has kids, and sometimes you'll have Nerf gun battles and Nerf bullets come flying over and you embrace it, right? And it becomes funny and, we celebrate it and laugh with it. It's the new normal right now.
Yeah.
So,
it's amazing how people have adapted to that in different environment, and I've seen babies, cats, the whole 9 yards.
Right. You're just hoping that your kids have pants on or something, and not embarrass you.
There's been a few of those videos out there that have been interesting, right? Zoom etiquette.
Yeah.
So with that being said, a question I had was, how are you guys finding it as a predominantly as a sales organization, right? Osprey is really known for being sales training, sales communication, and obviously for you to do that, you have to have an internal sales team generated, keeping things generated. How are you guys finding the climate right now? And knowing it's probably not a prime time selling climate, how are you keeping those sales resources active during this period? Especially since your goal is to keep them on payroll.
Yep. So what we found to be extremely effective is, and I feel like we a bit ahead of the curve on this, just lead with empathy. Like, look, everybody's, just to go back to what we just said, with the kids and people in the background, everybody's going through this right now. I think out of the gate, people probably didn't take it as serious as it's turned out to be, and they were still trying to do their assumptive closes, and they were trying to go for the business, and that's just not the world that we live in at this moment. What we have, whether it's internal or salespeople that we're managing externally, we're making them focus on leading with empathy, and it's almost it's a complete mind shift compared to what we're used to. It's the first time I can honestly say that we are a sales organization that's going to get sales, which sounds very weird. But in it, that we have actually seen that it's been opening up doors too. So like if somebody we match is talking to a decision maker and that person is having a conversation, maybe not right now, but in the future, if, in our opinion, if they're willing to have a conversation now in the climate that we're in over this couple week period, that to us means that they could and should go on a Warm 250 list. And that's an important thing. That's an important thing to note, because that those conversations that you're having now, they may not be an appointment right now, but they will be in a couple of weeks. And when we hit that upswing, we feel like we're putting both our clients and ourselves in a position to ride that wave, because there's a wave coming on the good swing, not what there's a reverse wave coming. It's just a matter of when.
Yep.
Anything
you want to add, Rob? I mean, are you seeing kind of that same trend occurring?
Yeah, same trend. And one of the things that we're focusing on when we're having our calls with prospects is, when you're speaking to that first person that picks up the phone, and you're leading with empathy, one of the main questions that we're asking right now is, everybody's new normal is working from home. How was that transition for your company? How did it go? Was it smooth, or was it, was it less than smooth? And just letting people open up with that kind of open-ended question, and it tells you some pretty good business insight. So if they didn't have a good transition with their current IT company, again, those people go on the list, and those are some of the first people that we call coming out of this to discuss, how we could do it better. So that was one of the, the main questions that we're trying to get our sales reps to ask.
Yeah. Good. I mean, it sounds like people are finding a way to stay engaged, and that's really the most important part. We've been coaching and counseling the people that are going through VCIO Toolbox Ramp Camp right now. That's our accelerator program to help VCIOs get out of the gate. We're saying to them, look, you're needed more than ever right now. Your clients have a lot of confusion. There's a lot of lessons learned that came out of the work from home setups. There's a lot of questions about security right now, and we'll step into that a little bit in a few minutes. And I know we're going to talk about that in another episode, but there's a lot of security concerns that exist, especially with everybody now distributed out there and the workforce not being right under your nose. And then ultimately, like we said before, there's a new strategy that has to be developed. So when we look at the service providers we work with, there's a lot of opportunity for staying engaged with their clients, especially as we cross over that peak and people's, go from that fear and uncertainty into, okay, I can start seeing where we're going to come out, and really be able to engage with those clients and have deeper and more meaningful conversations than we traditionally get to have when we're all kind of pushed in our normal day-to-day as well. Yep. So, that's exciting. And I certainly see a lot of opportunity, for all companies as we come out of this on the other side.
Yeah.
Another way that we're really, trying to maximize this time, especially, our sales teams as well, where there is a little bit of downtime because you're not making those dials and the other things that go on each day, is doing some of the self-education that can be done, right? We all know that the climate is ever changing. You guys, you're a marketing company. We do a lot of marketing on our side. And you realize that if you're not learning what's going out in the marketplace, ingratiating that knowledge into your messaging and then recreating and retooling your messaging for it, it's tough to get out there and really succeed. And then on a personal level, we all need to self-educate ourselves on those things that, we might not be as strong on. Right now, I personally am going through how to be imagine this, a better storyteller, how to really build a message around a story, because, it's very effective. What do you guys see or have your teams doing right now in terms of training in self-education during this time?
Yeah. So, on my side, what we're doing for, a lot of our employees and speaking to their clients is they're trying to build those stories right now while they're fresh in everybody's mind. How did they handle issues with their current client deck? Where the transition from home was, fast and furious, but they had to get there and they had to solve things. So we're trying to build new testimonials that are related to COVID. We're trying to build new references and storylines for this episode. So when we come out, we're ready for it. That's what I'm seeing on my side. Tim?
Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, look, I think we're kind of looking at it from two ways. We're helping our clients create those stories so that they can sell to those in the future. But then internally as well, we have the advantage of having a full-time trainer on staff. He's been able to, I think, manage from the standpoint that we've been able to help some of our clients who, some of the reps who are newer at their companies, they go back into our training classes as a refresher, where normally they wouldn't have the time to do that. Now, I mean, we still want all of our salespeople to be making calls, so I don't want to make it sound like they're not. But I think we can all understand that maybe it's just a different time, right? So there's a little more flexibility here, and this is the time to button up any scripting issues they have, or objection issues they have, or whatever that problem that they're having that they can fine tune right now. That's what we're trying to do. So two-pronged approach is what I would say. We're trying to fine-tune the salespeople that we're managing, but also trying to create those stories and help our clients just develop a story deck, if you will, for their unique selling proposition.
Yeah, and another thing I can say is in terms of this period over on our side, we're also taking advantage of this for a lot of competitive research as well. Really understanding what's going on in the market around us, and it's certainly not a follow me kind of concept, but it's always a good time to understand what new initiatives people that you may be engaging with, competitively, or at least in my case, softwares that may be attached to our world as well, and what new things they're doing that we may be able to take advantage to enhance our experience within VCIO Toolbox.
Yeah.
Perfect. Well, we're getting near the end of the episode here, guys. So with that being said, what I'd like to do is, thank all our listeners for joining us here for the first edition of MSP Business School. We're going to be pushing out a episode every week, so stay tuned for more. If you want to have certain topics researched and as part of our conversations, please feel free to submit those to topics@mspbusinessschool.com, and we'll be happy to take a look at those and see if we can give you our thoughts. So with that said, Rob, Tim, really appreciate you joining. Looking forward to working with you again next week, and we'll catch you then.
All right. Take care.
Thank you.